So our next speaker, I mean, I'm incredibly honored that you're here, Gaetano. We've known each other for quite a number of years. We've also exchanged on topics of sustainability, and you've really been a pioneer in that sense. You're certainly one of the most eminent industry leaders. You've been working in this industry for many, many decades. Dr. Gaetano Cavalieri is president of CIBJO, the World Jewellery Confederation. And he's a prominent leader in the industry. He's also a board member of many associations, many organizations, and he's certainly been at the forefront of the industry's efforts to have a positive impact, to become more sustainable. And part of the conversation today was to try and understand and reflect on what has happened over the past few decades. So thank you so much for being here, Gaetano, with us. My first question might be, CIBJO, so the World Jewellery Confederation, plays a leading role in making the jewellery industry more sustainable. Can you talk about the beginnings of this? I believe you were involved in the Kimberley process and its beginnings in the early 2000s. Sustainability is nothing new. How did all this start for you? Or what, if you look back upon this, what historical trajectory has it taken and why is it important?
Thank you very much, Laura, and thank you for the friends here today with us and for those that are, I suppose, in streaming. Let's start with one simple statement, which is the jewelry business is a wonderful business. That's 100%. And just to follow what the previous speaker said, when you ask why the people buy jewelry, the people buy jewelry because give a lot of sensations, and the people buy jewelry because it's underlining and mark special periods and times in the life of each one of us. You know, when somebody is born, when you get married or engaged, when you celebrate whatever thing. I mean, having a piece of jewelry is always something that let the people smile. And today, if you go around, not many people are smiling. So if we may help the people smiling in this industry, then we're happy.
But you were smiling, so...
I always smile because, you know, as you said, we know each other since a long time. You were mentioning the year 2000 and this and that. And yes, my family is in the business since a few hundred years, exactly 203, starting in 1821. But I don't look so old, but I define myself several times young. Said that one of the elements in let the people smile when they get a piece of jewelry as a present or when they buy for themselves, is the fact that the people has to be aware what is a piece of jewelry, where the components are coming from, how the components were designed, how the components has been assembled, and what kind of expertise is behind. And one of the elements is the philosophy of sustainability. Why I'm saying philosophy of sustainability? Because sustainability is a way of life. In other words, if I walk on the street and I have a piece of paper, I put in my pocket. I don't throw the paper on the ground. If somebody is smoking, hopefully less people, you know, and you have a cigarette, you put in the ashtray. So it's a way of respecting the processes and respecting the environment and respecting the humanity and give what has to be given to the society. In other words, what I'm saying is that sustainability is something that many people talk about it, but is something that is essential for the future of our generations and for the future of the incoming generation. And I'm referring to environment, I'm referring to human rights, I'm referring to decent work, I'm referring to medicines, I'm referring to take care. I mean, I can say what we in the organization I have the honor to chair have done, which obviously is not so public, not because we do not communicate, but we communicate to the trade. So we are an organization of association. So what we do is public because sometimes the people go to visit our website or there are occasions like this to talk. But on the other hand, you know, when somebody, I give an example, is probably a stupid example. If each one of us go to the supermarket and buy, I don't know, tomatoes or salads or meat, there is a label that say this product is coming from, was produced by, has been packed by, has been traded by. So all the information are there. When you buy a piece of jewelry, if you do not have those information, the diamond is a natural diamond. I mean, we have here Raluca that is there. She is the next speaker, and she will talk about Natural Diamond Council, which is important, or otherwise is so-called laboratory-grown diamond or synthetic, as the recent statement from the Minister of Finance in France that has been reiterated that a diamond which is not natural is synthetic. But give the meaning of fake. Well, you know, we have always said that it's essential to have full disclosure in everything we do. So,
this has really been something that CIBJO has been working on for many decades, right? Full disclosure with the blue books and everything. So if we bring that back to sustainability, and for example, the example of the Kimberley process, how did you see these beginnings kind of come about? Because I think there's a lot of good intentions, and then how do you bring this into actionable and concrete actions, which is a lot of the work that you've done over the past 2 decades?
Good intention are not enough. The action
yeah.
that you do on the field, the way that you communicate, the way that you let our traders and retailers from mine to retail to tell the people, to tell the story of the components of a piece of jewelry. Because here we are talking about jewelry itself. In other words, a Kimberley process that was born in the year 2000, I don't know if you may remember, but it looks that you are too young under this point of view, so you have read. But the industry was attacked by a group of NGOs saying in the 1999, 1998, 1999, said, well, diamonds are linked to revolution, are linked to terrorism, are doing this and this and that. And the industry came together, said, well, but we do not recognize ourselves in this kind of statement. So that means that if the people is attacking the industry, there is something wrong. So we, the industry, accepted what they were saying. So, okay, said what we have to do to defend our reputation and to reaffirm our reputation. Why I'm saying that? I would like to link what I'm saying to what I said previously. The jewelry industry is a beautiful industry. And why is it a beautiful industry? For several reasons. One of those reasons is the fact that the people base, since the very beginning, meaning few thousand years ago, the trade on reputation. In other words, if you look years ago, Many years ago, the people, and still today, but many years ago in particular, the people was making business just shaking hands and honor the word given. So the sense of honorability, the sense of honesty, the sense of reputation, the sense of respect, and when I say all these senses, meaning that all of them together are done towards the final consumer. Because at the end is the final consumer. We all here simply because there are consumers, otherwise there is no reason to be here. In all these halls, beautiful, wonderful jewelry, wonderful stones, wonderful design, wonderful activity, everything, it looks to be sparkling, but whatever we do is done towards the consumer. And we have to respect the consumer in bringing those jewelry and is the element of fantasy, of intellect, of study, of architecture, of designing, of capacity of assembling, of setting, and so on, in order to bring something that is beautiful. We have heard Ellen and Katia are talking about the V&A museum or talking about precious metals. Well, all those are components that has to be brought together and making something that let the people smile.
In confidence, right? So in maintaining consumer confidence.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So one of the other things that you were instrumental in is working very closely with different UN organizations over the years. Can you maybe share why this was important to you or why you felt that the jewelry industry or CIBJO specifically needed to work together with them and could kind of partner with different UN initiatives?
Well, I tell you the story, which is a funny story. I was in the year 2000 in a very important meeting in New York with, gathering the entire leadership of the industry at the time. And obviously the NGO were invited, and we had let's say, few person representing NGO that attack us. And then I said, okay, I put in a coffee break myself in a side, and I asked these people, said, could you please tell me why you attack us with so heavy passion, which I like it, but I would like to understand. So they start telling me, and I said, well, in order to be, I would say, play in the same ground, in the same fields, if they are NGO, we have to become NGO. And the industry became NGO. After that meeting, I went to the UN, I went to the Department of Economic and Social Affairs, and I said, how may CIBJO become an NGO recognized within the United Nations? So they said, who are you? I said, well, I am this, and that. I represent this jewelry business. Please go. I said, excuse me, please go. And I left. I went to my ambassador, who was, still is a very good friend of mine, the ambassador of Italy, representing the permanent mission to the UN. I said, this and this happened. It's impossible because we represent what we represent. And by the way, just for your information, we represent 47 countries in the world. Through our membership, we represent over 7 million companies all around the world in this business, and some 100 million people working in this business. So our capacity to represent is there because it's recognized by government, each government, and by the United Nations, where after that episode, we start the process, took several years. Our chief financial officer and ex-president of SSCF made a pile of documents for years going back and forwards. And after so long time, in 2006, meaning 6 years later, we became, after a very deep interrogation in front of the Assembly of the ECOSOC, United Nations Economic and Social Council representative, meaning the representative of the government at the level of ambassadors. Then finally, we were granted with special consultative status. What does it mean? That we are, since then, the voice of the entire jewelry industry from mine to retailing to the UN, where I and other colleagues are going every year. I had the honor to speak last year twice at the General Assembly, and every year we are going there to deliver the status of health of the jewelry industry, both in New York and in Geneva. So the activity that we do is obviously, could sound a little bit boring, but is important for the final consumer, is essential for the final consumer, because we have to protect the final consumer, protecting their consumer confidence, their confidence, and by protecting them, we protect the industry. So it's a simple equation that we have to consider in a very wide way.
So tell me, Gaetano, because you say that since 2006 you've been delivering annual reports, how do you see the industry? How has it changed? This is nearly 20 years ago. How do you see that? Also, when you report on the health of the industry, how do you see it today?
Well, the industry has changed dramatically, and this is a dynamic industry, and we are lucky, dynamic in every single sense. I truly believe that this industry today is much more mature than what it was 50 years ago. But this is the normal evolution of new achievement, new goals, new technologies, new elements, new study, and is highly, under a certain point of view, sophisticated when we talk about this industry. But I believe that this industry, as it has been proven, has brought much more attention to the issues related to transparency, sustainability, origin, and all these elements that are bringing, obviously, human rights, gender equality, labor conditions, environment. So there are all the elements of the 17 Millennium Sustainable Development Goals, which are essential to work. Because if you don't work and have relation with your environment, your supplier, and your clients, you cannot have all those elements. There is a key element, which is KYC, know your counterpart, which is essential in all these kind of relations. Otherwise, if you don't know your counterpart, how can you do that?
So the more information, the more knowledge, the more transparency, the more exchange, the more partnerships there are, the more of benefit it is to everybody or to all stakeholders.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the things I think it was a part of the title for this panel was to say that you were really covering all stakeholders in the industry.
CIBJO, not me.
No,
I'm covering because my size.
Yeah.
But
sorry, I'm speaking to CIBJO. You were not the only person in CIBJO, but I meant to say CIBJO really represents absolutely every single actor in the industry.
Yes.
And this is a mandate that you've really been very, very passionate about and bringing that forward as well, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the fact that, as you know, in CIBJO, all the officers and members are all volunteer. So we are there voluntarily to serve the industry, and none of us is paid. So we do for dedication, we do for passion. But overall, what is important to underline is the fact that CIBJO, since 1926, when it was born, has produced the so-called blue books, which are called blue books simply because originally the cover of the book was blue, where all the technical tools were put together. And the blue books are recognized by the Court of Justice. And the blue books are, in some countries, and a good number of countries, including France, a national law. So that means that those elements are very, very, very specific and technical, and because are too technical, we have organized, just launched last year, the so-called Academy, where one of our prominent member and now vice president and president of the sector is the dean of the so-called Academy, because it is important and essential that everybody is aware what is going on, how is going on. In other words, translate what has been and still is a very technical, let's say, number of books, because are divided in diamond, colorstone, pearls, coral, precious metal, and so on, including the Sustainable Development Commission, including the Responsible Sourcing Commission and the Responsible Sourcing book. So there are a number which are freely downloadable from the website. So no need to pay. You go in the website, you download, and that's it.
They're a great resource. I would also encourage anybody to download them all. And a lot of hard work goes into them. So
you know yourself for professional reasons, but we are there to support. We are there to support. We are there to support our member. I am happy that Mr. Guido Groman is here, a representative of the organizations in Germany that I don't pronounce because I don't speak German, but in any case, my pronunciation in German is very bad. But the fact that he is here and the people here belong to the association, or the association of the association, is important, because that is the role. The role of the association is to produce whatever tool in terms of services, in terms of knowledge, in terms of delivering, in terms of information, in terms of being there at the disposal of the industry and through the industry toward the consumer. That is, at the end, what is the capacity to represent from mine to retail as we do.
So one of the challenges I see right now, or for the last few years, is that terms like sustainability, ethics, responsible sourcing have been very widely used in different ways. And, you know, CIBJO really being a leader in terms of terminology and bringing people together. Can you perhaps kind of share your experience on the challenges of people using different terms to mean different things, and what CIBJO is working on right now?
Absolutely. Thank you very much for this question. But again, everything is based on few elements. Element number one is honesty. Because the people has to be honest. You can make a lot of money, be honest. But the element of honesty is paying in the long term. So it's something that you have to invest. And honesty means also the fact that knowledge is essential to be delivered with full transparency. So there are several elements that are linked together. And when you know, it's like a boy, a girl, that is starting to go to the school and start from the kindergarten, primary school, and then finish as a doctor as you are, and specialized in many things. I mean, you have done a lot of stuff in terms of sustainability yourself. And it's essential that all these elements that are brought together, they are delivered to the people. So knowledge and competence, knowledge and competence, informations, and share this knowledge and this competence in a way that the people may understand, and is up to the speaker, in this case me or you or the others, that have to use a plain language in order to give to the audience the exact meaning what we want to say. Because sometimes, you know, I can see people that say, wow, speak, you know, like a top professor. I'm not. In fact, I don't speak as a professor. I am not at all. I am still a student, despite my several young number of years, but still is like this, because if the people speak in a plain language and show that there is the knowledge of the element we said, gold, silver, platinum, copper, whatever, and they know about soldering, and the people knows how a simple piece of jewelry is made, that is essentially is important, because it is not only the fact that a piece of jewelry is precious or is beautiful, because a piece of jewelry is precious by nature, not by definition, by nature. A simple gold band is precious by nature. And when we see about pearls, for instance, you know, the pearls, you are a great expert in pearls. When I went to see the South Sea pearls, or in the Philippines, in Australia, in French Polynesia, and you see how the pearls are cultured, you know, it's incredible, because there are all these ships, small and big, where the pearls are taken every 3 weeks. Many 100,000 of pearls every 3 weeks are taken out from the water. They are cleaned. Somebody's opened the oyster, talked to the pearl. How are you? I saw myself. I mean, it's incredible. So when you say and when you see something like this, you have to think that everything, you know, goes in a certain direction, and the quality of the water is much better than what was, you know, 30 years ago. The species of new fishes, I saw myself more than 150 species of fishes that apparently were disappeared are back. That means that the quality of the water is what it is. You go underwater, that you like. I don't. But
well, just to follow up on that, two terms that are widely used in pearl farming are nursery and husbandry. So there's kind of a love relationship also with the oyster and taking care, and that maybe comes back to your message from before, that jewelry should be beautiful, and the way we make jewelry should also be beautiful, and that links back to the previous talk on craftsmanship, or your own family's history of over 200 years.
Absolutely.
This is about doing things the good way in the long term.
But if the people think how 1 gram of gold is made, how many kilos of rocks you have to take in order to produce, or one simple diamond is coming from the ground. You know, somebody say, well, I'm sorry, I go back. But when you take from the ground, meaning the nature, and that's why, you know, the stones, diamond, sapphires, emeralds, or others, or the precious metal are coming up, you know, is something that is, to me, is giving enthusiasm. I have been visiting many mines around the world, and we are in this industry very lucky that those miners are mining ethically.
Yeah.
Those miners. Those, as happened to me, that were not doing, has been reported. And they had somebody closed, or somebody has been reported and changed completely the way of mining. So it is essential, the role of the industry to control how all the thing, not police, but at least control what is happening all around the industry.
So in 2007, you had a congress, or sorry, CIBJO had a congress in South Africa. And you came out with a declaration called the Cape Town Declaration. Why was this important? I mean, South Africa is a producing country, both of platinum, gold, diamonds. It seemed to be quite a monumental moment and quite a statement to do this in a producing country and come out and say the industry feels that this is the declaration. Can you perhaps share a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. The declaration, so-called Cape Town Declaration, went because there were a number of representatives of several countries in the area, from South Saharan to South Africa's governments. We have initiated years before the way of talking with our members miners in order to take care of what was going on in that part of the world, meaning taking care of the miners, taking care of their family, taking care of the women, taking care of the children. So meaning that in the mines, in the mines area, there were hospitals, there were schools, there were kindergarten, there were medical control, IDS, and the number of people working was increasing also because this, but were taken off from other, let's say, negative ways to go forward. And that was an element that took off the people from what was, let's say, problematic into something that was giving the possibility to grow happily and was clearly stated that the jewelry industry, largely meaning, was a peace asset. Why? Because giving them the opportunity and the tools to work properly and honestly and transparently was getting every single war away, as we did with the Kimberley process in Sierra Leone 2003, that with the system that we put in place, we took the money out from that, and without that, nothing can be done.
Yeah. Thank you. Perhaps one of the final questions would be, 2 decades later after all this KP thing, what are the lessons learned from you? Or I don't want to guess how many decades you have been working on all these subjects, quite a few, and your family's been working on this for centuries. Where do you see the jewelry industry going?
The jewelry industry will grow every day. There is no doubt, because, I don't want to start from the very beginning, Adam and Eve, but today, the jewelry industry, we live in a world that is giving the possibility to live in a certain way and to enjoy life. Too many negative things are happening around the world today. I mean, just during this day, there is in Munich this convention about security. The world needs to be secure. The people need to be secure and live happily toward the future. The jewelry industry is absolutely, without any doubt, one of the components to let the people be happy, maybe be even happier.
Thank you, Gaetano. So maybe my final question would be, given that we have a lot of young people in the audience, you're very passionate about these subjects. I mean, you have Sicilian blood and DNA, but where do you find the energy, the passion, and the enthusiasm to, keep on working on all these projects?
I sleep in the fridge, so...
Of course. Just bring him a fridge and it'll be okay.
I am fair. Bringing a fridge.
Just bring me a fridge.
So, I just recharge myself.
Okay. Well, thank you for your passion.
Thank you very much.
And if there's any questions from the audience for Dr. Gaetano Cavalieri, we're happy to take them. And otherwise, I'm sure he'll be around for a little while longer.
Thank you very much.